And welcome here. We are at St. Augustine for this round 5 encounter. It's the final game in the preliminary stages of this Rising Stars Women Under-19 Championship. And of course, it's the Leeward Islands against Barbados. The Leeward Islands atop the table. They're tied with 12 points with Barbados, but their net run rate puts them ahead, as you can see, 2.949. And Barbados in second place with 2.589, and no results for both teams. Their first two games being rained out. So back-to-back wins for these two teams puts them in the ascendancy. But it's all to play for. It's a must-win game because, as you could see, Jamaica on 10, and even Trinidad and Tobago in with a shout with 8 points. If Jamaica, who are up against the Windward Islands, come through with a victory, and they can move up to 14 points, and the winner of this encounter should go to 16, which would leave the second spot up for grabs. And if Trinidad, who's up against Guyana, Trinidad who's on 8 points, do manage to get a win and Jamaica loses, and then it's down to net run rate, and Trinidad and Tobago on .342. So it's all to play for on this round 5 across games taking place in Diego Martin and the National Cricket Centre. And we are all set to go. Nearwood has the ball in hand as Barbados won the toss and opted to bowl first, as they did in the last game and against Jamaica. And out there in the middle, as you could well expect, Sainavi Kambalapali, leading run scorer in the tournament, and at the non-strikers and Casey Boyles. The first ball starts with a wide. As I say, good morning to Astel Ren.
Good morning to you, Billy, and thank you so much for the opportunity to share the commentary box with you once again. And as you mentioned before, as we saw in the toss, Barbados won the toss as they did in the previous encounter here. And Billy, you think it's a good toss to win and made the right decision by bowling first?
Well, we'll have to look at the weather forecast, and there is just around 47% chance of rain at around 12:01 p.m. and a 37% chance of rain from 10 to 11. So it's always a good toss to win. And deciding what to do with that toss, the option for Tiani Herbert Myers was to bowl first, as she did in the last game. So if we do get an interruption with rain, you are at a slight advantage in that you would know how much runs you would have to chase should it be a Duckworth-Lewis calculation. But having said that, I still Sanaivi Kambalapali, she's been going guns at the top of the order. It's glorious looking. Are they going to get one on the misfield at mid-off? So she is on the way, Kambalapali. And the total now with the one wide moves on the 3, 2 wides in fact. Total moves on to 3. And they have been very successful at the top of the order, particularly Kambalapali. She scored 37 off of 21 deliveries against Guyana on Tuesday. Yeah, it's a very healthy strike rate indeed. She's been very aggressive. And no slouch either is Casey Boyles. And didn't get off the mark in the last game, but has been in the runs. The first game against Trinidad and Tobago, very healthy 29 before she had to retire hurt. But the opening partnership put on 83 runs between the pair.
So at least the Leewards, they'll be depending heavily on this opening pair to really start to lay that foundation which they will expect to attack and to really build on once they get through this first period of play from the Bajans. The Bajans, on the other hand, having decided to send in the opposition, they'll be looking to really for some early wickets. And there we see this one, a high one from Wood that just passed the outside edge and went through to wicketkeeper, and there is no run there. So, as you mentioned before, as you were telling our viewers about the musical chairs with the teams and how, if and what happens, who get points and who may be defeated, how it can be a final way for some of them. Nice shot indeed from a square cut, and look, it may go all the way to the fence. No, well cut up there by the sweeper, and there's just 2 runs in it, or a single. And that's how it is just one run there. I thought they would have run the first one very hard indeed to come back and challenge for the second, but they decided to stay on one.
Yeah,
Wood was short outside the off stump there, and she got the treatment.
Playing and missing outside of the off stump is Kambalapali. And yeah, Bowman is out there. Interesting that they pushed her right out to deep cover, just about 10 yards inside of the boundary in the first over for Nia Wood. She started outside of the off stump as the over comes to an end, 4 runs without loss. And they have done that because surely they've done their homework against Kambalapali and Boyles, and knowing that they love that cover drive and that off drive. We saw Kambalapali play quite a few cover drives, and she looked very much in control of the bowling in their last encounter. And so much so, she scored that 37 off of 21 runs against Guyana. They won that game chasing 74 inside of 9 overs. Such was the high strike rate. So they already had that protection in place in that first over. It's going to be Erin Dean who's going to pick up the attack as she did in the last game for Barbados against Jamaica, opening the bowling from the northern end. And she picks up a wicket off of her first delivery. What a fantastic start here. Breaking the opening partnership very early, and Casey Boyle goes. And we'll have a look at this delivery. It pitched and spun into the off stump. A little bit of drift, but a lot of grip and turn between bat and pad. And very disappointed there is Boyles. And the first wicket is down with just 4 runs on the board.
Excellent start for the Bajans indeed, and I thought there that Boyles didn't cover, didn't make the necessary adjustment to that ball that came in. She left some daylight between bat and pad, and that's where the ball sneaked through and hit the stump. So a very, very good start indeed. Erin Dean is the one who created that breakthrough for the Bajans, and they are delighted with just 4 runs on the board, and they have lost 1 wicket. And you said before, I haven't seen Boyles bat before, but you said that she was one of the ones they were dependent upon, and she's back in the hot at this time. So Barbados will be cock-a-hoop at this time.
Yeah, she featured in that 83-run partnership in the first game that Leeward Islands had played. That game they went on to score 120 without loss. She left the field. She had an issue with the sunblock in her eyes, running into her eyes, and she had to come off of the field after being attended to a couple times. And that occurred at 83 runs on the board. And Jazara Clarkston, who joined Kambalapali, she scored 19 in that game. So 120 they posted without the loss of a wicket. But she is here again. 21 in her last game, Jazara Clarkston. This is a full delivery from Dean, coming around the wicket this time to the Leeward Islands captain. And she's been very prolific as well. Clarkston, of course, part of that West Indies senior team. And not to mention taking part in Malaysia in the World Cup qualification. Jazara Clarkston. Yeah, and she's cut this one away. It's going to go into the boundary for 4. So she gets her score going with a boundary. And as I mentioned at the tour, she loves to hit 6s as well. But this time getting off with a boundary for the off spinner coming around the wicket and giving her some width outside of the off stump and put away for 4. Excellent
shot indeed, Billy, because that one was just outside the off stump. She saw it, she lay back and she rolled the wrist over it, and that one spread away to the fence. It means that she'll be very, very pleased indeed in the manner in which she has gotten up the mark with a boundary. This one from Dean again, right up there. Clarkson went for that cover drive. It hit the inside edge. Unfortunately for her, it didn't go onto the stump, but they went through for a single instead. One more added to the total. So you could have had disaster in the other day in the next delivery after having scored that boundary, but it was not to be, as Clarkson, well, she survived to fight another day, and that brought now the inform Kamba Lalapali. She's the one who is facing up now. Short from Dean, and she's pulled this one around. They'll go through for a comfortable single indeed. The score pushes on to double figures, 10 for 1, and we are yet to complete the first over, the second over.
Yeah, we have a look at that inside edge of the bottom of the bat. Was it just over the stumps and past wicketkeeper Collymore?
Quite fortunately there for Clarkston, it could have hit the leg stump because it came back and hit the bottom of the bat.
And again, they are still coming off the inside portion of the bat as the over comes to an end. 6 runs in the over and a wicket. So a shaky start here from the Leeward Islands, losing a wicket, but exactly what Tiana Herbert-Myers would have wanted.
Yes,
winning the toss.
Exactly what she had wanted, because once you win the toss and you insert the opposition into her first strike, then you'll be looking for early wickets. But I like the way in which how Clarkston, the Leeward Islands captain, how she got off the mark with this command in a square cut, and that went all the way. So that will do her confidence. That will do the team a lot, despite losing an early wicket.
Yeah, Barbados well aware of Kambalapali's form in this tournament. As we see, there is a deep cover already in place for her. And the mid-off and mid-on sit on the 30-yard circle, so they're well aware of her ability to drive the ball. Pushed uppishly down, and it's past the bowler. It's going to go close to the boundary. And an excellent attempt there from Is it Asabi Calendar, trying to hold that one back. It was pushed uppishly, but timed and placed in the gap, and it makes it all the way down to the boundary for 4. We didn't mention the mid-off and mid-on all the way on the 30-yard circle, but can't prevent the boundary, and Kambalapali continues on with her stroke play.
Oh yes, she has decided that despite the early loss of her wicket, she's going to be playing her shots. And you see Calendar there, excellent camera work from our cameraman there, Emilio. He got a Calendar almost pulling it back there, and you can see good piece of work there from this cameraman.
Yeah, he would have been on his toes as well, as it was coming down to his end.
Exactly.
In the air, cover is going to come into the frame as that one lands in front of us. So the protection already there. Just 1 run with that adventurous shot from Kambalapali. And 2 adventurous players out there in the middle, Clarkston and Kambalapali. But they'll have to be aware, particularly the captain, that they've already lost an early wicket. And with the batting of Barbados and the display in the last game, you'd surely want to post a very competitive total here, batting first.
Exactly, and that's a bold and a brave attempt by Kambalapali. She has decided that she's going to approach this innings with braveness. She's going to play her shots despite anything that has come up, that is tossed up to her. She's going to be putting that away. Wood once more comes into Clarkston on the pad, and she just turns it around for a comfortable single. The field person from mid-on or mid-wicket that's coming from the boundary and picks it up. She comes around, and there's 1 more to the total. So we are in for some exciting times and some good stroke play, because what I'm seeing here, both Clarkston and and Kambalapali, they are going to be giving us a treat this morning once they stay for any time at the wicket.
Right delivery here from Woods. Once Barbados got going in the tournament, their first 2 games and no result due to the weather against the Windward Islands and Trinidad and Tobago. But 2 victories, one against Guyana and Jamaica. They bowled Guyana out for 21 and dismissed Jamaica for 74. So their bowlers are very much on cue. It's been a mixed bag from Nia Wood here early on. A couple wide deliveries. But she is a handful when she gets it right. Advancing down the track and hit just to the right of the fielder at mid-off, and it'll go into the boundary for 4. And Kambalapali is motoring on here early on in the piece. Nijani Kamabach had no chance as she just to her right in the air, and advancing down the track is Kambalapali. So much confidence she has that she's in the 3rd over of the game, and she's walking down the wicket to Nia Wood, the medium pacer.
She has decided to take on Nia Wood. She has decided to take her on, and because that's the only way that you can survive. Sometimes you must counter-attack, and I think she's counter-attacking playing her shots and making sure that she put the bowlers on the defensive, and she will take away some of the sting and have the captain Myers rethink her game plan.
Wide here from Woods, trying to keep it wide of Kambalapali and wanted reaching for it, but signal wide on this occasion. There is a field change, and the mid-off dropped off the long off now with Kambalapali in such aggressive mode, and it's more of to protect the boundary here, and signaling now by umpire Candice Laborde. And just where did that one pitch her still that she's signaling a no ball and a free hit?
Well, I'm still trying to work that one out too.
Yeah, they had a third in place on the boundary, and when they dropped Kamabach out to long off, there was some hesitancy because they in the power play only 2 allowed outside, but they didn't call back in. It looks like maybe Braffett out there will confirm that she's now in the ring.
That's right. And Kambalapali again, lovely drive, and again she's coming. She's coming to meeting Wood on the full and playing a lovely cover drive, but the sweeper down there picks it up and just denied her 3 runs. She just went through for that single. So the stroke play continues. The attack continues very early from Kambalapali.
Yeah, 23 for 1. One delivery to come in the 3rd over as the field changes around for the left-handed Clarkston, and the cover goes just about 20 yards outside of the 30-yard circle, just about 15 yards rather, as it should be a 50-yard boundary. It looks a slight bit bigger than that here at the UE Spec facility. One delivery to come in the over. It's a full toss and one bounce to Calendar at mid-off, and no ball signaled by the umpire. Candice Laborde. Is going to be another free hit.
So at least Clarkston missed out on capitalizing on that full toss, but Woods transgressed the line. She went over the line.
I think it was for Waster still.
It was because of the high delivery.
Yeah.
I thought it was not that high, but
I tend to agree with you.
Yeah, so it was not that, but the umpire called it. We got to stay with it.
Push.
Outside the off stump again from Wood, and Clarkston attempted a cover drive, didn't make contact. It went through to the keeper, and that's the end of the over. The score is now 23 for 1 at the end of the 3rd over. And we forget, it missed us during the action because Kambalapali is playing so much shots that we forget that Barbados, they have a player on debut, Billy.
Yeah, Holder.
Jadea Holder, yes, she's an off spinner, and she's wearing the number 41. I believe she is the one who has gained her cap in this game.
Yeah,
So
we'll just run through the card, the 11 as well for both teams. And you're quite right. Debut. We saw a cap being presented by the manager, Nicola Graves, this morning.
and it's so nice to see players coming on and getting their first cap to represent their country. It's a great feeling. As we see now, Dean once more.
Oh, she's put it down. Advancing down the track there. Sainavi Kambalapali. Not quite to the pitch of it. And didn't make good enough connection to clear. She was looking to go aerially out of the outer portion of the bat. And it did go to hand. And it was put down. So they'll be bitterly disappointed there. It could have been 2 for 23.
Exactly, and let us hope that the Bajans doesn't live to regret that chance, because Kambalapali seemed to be a very, very good put-together player, and she will capitalize on that chance. This one from Dean is on the leg stump, and Kambalapali, she turned that one around. She attempted to go for the single, but the leg field made a stop, returned it to the keeper, and there's no run. The ball is relayed back to the bowler. Dean once more is the one who will be bowling up to Kambalapali. And this one, she swing this one around. It hit the edge and it will go into the ropes for 4. So it's 4 more to the total. And we see the debutant Holder. She's the one who's at leg side field. She's number 6, not 41. Oh, sorry.
It is Holder, in fact, and we were just confirming Nijani Kamabach was the one who put the catch down. that Kambapali offered. But you're quite right, Astil. It is Holder there at short fine leg, doing the chasing. Down the track again is Kambapali. Can't get a run this time as it's pushed to mid-on. So even though she was put down, she still has the temerity to play each ball on length and use her feet to the spin of Erin Dean. Now Erin Dean, she is no slouch with the ball either, hence she's opening the bowling here. She's been quite prolific with the ball, picking up wickets along the way. 4 wickets in the last game. It would have been a player of the match performance from Dean, except Asabi Kandela took that away with her 52 not out.
Yes, and what a 52 it was, a very, very put together 52. She played all the shots and she was very, very, very compact and composed during that innings.
And a couple of appeals here. There is one for caught behind. Is there one for stumping as well, as Collymore picks the bails? And a loud appeal not out from umpire Vicky Daniels at the northern end. Have a look at it here again.
Oh, yes, let's have a look here.
Looks like the bat hit the ground. But very excited was Myers at first slip, as well as Collymore. A bit of a belated appeal from the wicket keeper.
Yes, a good bit of work from Collymore, the keeper. But Dean was very, very, very boisterous and she demanded of the umpire Laborde that she be given that decision. But umpire Laborde was stayed firm and there wasn't any disturbance there. So that's it. Oh, Daniel is the one who was at the presiding end at the time when that appeal was made.
Well, you might be right, Arsil, because they were appealing for everything, including the stumping. So Laborde at square leg probably did have to adjudicate as well, not out.
Oh yes, because I saw Collymore. She looked to her left and she was asking, was that stumping clean? But good glove work indeed.
Bowling change here. The captain comes on with her off spin to Clarkston, and we're still in the power play. 4 overs gone, 28 for 1, and with Wood conceding 17 runs, being driven down the ground twice from Kambapali. She's been taken out of the attack. So it's an all off spin attack from Barbados.
A wise decision indeed, because once your fast bowler isn't hitting the Lincoln line, I think it is time that the captain rethink her plan. And the captain brought herself on with her off spin, that is Myers, and she'd hoping that she can put some breaks on the scoring here. Put the brakes on the scoring and bring some sanity to the occasion. High up in the air. Let's see what's going to happen here. It dropped. Well, Clarkston came forward to her opposite number, played a high one, and the catch was put down there. So Barbados have shown that they got some slippy fingers. The one putting down the catch is number 14, and it has to be a big miss there. That ball stood in the air quite a while there. The feast person came around, settled on it, and spilled the catch. So Barbados have let themselves down on 2 occasions in 2 consecutive overs. The one before and this one. Nobody left on the left hand. Clarkston is the one. Clarkston was the one who went with back.
So another opportunity being grasped here, and off the captain's bowling, in fact.
Yeah, well, it's 14.
Down the track, whipping it into the onside. It's going to go close to the boundary. It's a chase on here for Nia Wood. She's not going to get there. And another boundary now to sign of Kambapali. She'll go on to 20. And in her very aggressive frame of mind here, she's looking to capitalize on any opportunity and any chances they give her to continue to score. So 33 for 1 and 1 delivery to come in this Herbert Myers over. Another loud appeal here from Herbert Myers. And she'd be disappointed conceding a boundary in the over after having gotten the opportunity to take a wicket. And turning it, she gets some bat onto that. Not out, says umpire aboard. It's the end of 5 overs, 33 for 1.
Quite a healthy scoring rate at this time. At the end of 5, 33 for 1. So that means they're knocking at about 6.60 per over. And that is quite a healthy scoring rate. I think the Bajans have let themselves down a little in the last 2 overs because they have allowed the 2 batsmen at the crease to be given a chance each. And that could turn out to be that could hurt them. That could be a hurter for them. But we see picking up the attack from this end is Dean. Dean continues the attack. And she will be bowling to Clarkston. Good delivery there. There's a long appeal. And the umpire, Daniel, is on move there. It's the off spinner coming around the wicket. So it would be a very, very difficult time for her to get a leg before decision because that ball will be coming further away to the offside.
Yeah, I think probably judged to be angling down the leg side, not coming back enough.
And there again, the Dean, and she's out. Yes, sirree. Dean put this one outside the off stump. Clarkston went for the cut shot. Maybe she got a thin edge, the finest of edge. And Collymore, the keeper, took the catch. There was a loud appeal. Let's have a second look at it. And there you can see Clarkston reached for that one. That one was too wide for her, but she went after it and she paid the price. So now, Barbados have gotten the wicket of Clarkston, caught behind of Dean, and the score is now 33 for 2. So Barbados, they will not think that they will be suffering too much having gotten rid of Clarkston in this manner.
Yeah, and Dean picking up her 2nd wicket now of the innings. So we have another look at it again. And Collymore was very, very confident that there was something off of the bat, pleading with umpire Daniel, and eventually taking a fraction of a second to confirm in her mind the umpire and giving the decision out. And it was a very vociferous appeal, not just from the wicketkeeper, but from first slip and all around as well. So clearly they heard something, the players in the outfield, as confirmed by umpire Daniel. But it would mean the loss of a very big wicket there. The captain goes for 7 after Dean picked up Boyles for 1 in her first over. So Barbados, it's almost neck and neck now. 2 wickets down for 33, and we're still inside the power play in the 6th over. So it has to be said though, those 2 wickets are 2 very big wickets there, and as long as Campbell Apali is out there, and it's going to be still positive for the Leeward Islands. Catherine Bean Rosario is in, facing up. First ball angle down the leg side. It's going to be signal a wide. And this is a very talented young lady indeed, Catherine Bean Rosario. Does play both sports, cricket and football. In fact, she's off to scholarship at Hampton in the US and playing here for the Leeward Islands women under 19. So a little bit of pressure being placed on the Leeward Islands batting with Dean picking up 2 wickets. And Myers had an opportunity put down off of her bowling in the last over. Hit up in the air, and first slip is going to take the catch. The captain picks up Bean Rosario. She goes without scoring, and Dean gets another wicket. She also had an opportunity to get Campbell Apali out, Erin Dean, and the catch was put down at mid-off, but coming back quite well and picking up 2 wickets in the over.
That's a good blows struck there by Erin Dean, because the Bajans, they let 2 catches go down in consecutive overs, but now they have hit back and hit back strong indeed. They have picked up their 3rd wicket, 34 for 3, and we are still, according to you, Billy, we are still in the power play. So things are happening. Jean is the one who is doing all the damage so far. She has all 3 wickets for 11 runs.
Yeah, building on her 4 for 16 against Jamaica on Tuesday, and Dean striking here yet again as we look at it off the top edge, trying to pull it off the back foot. We saw her play a shot off the back foot 2 deliveries ago, and I thought she would have gotten inside the line and looked to pull it with the turn to mid-wicket. Instead, she was opening the bat face to play it through the covers, and on this occasion, looking to shape it through the covers again. A delivery perhaps she could have been working onto the onside with the spin, but she's decided to go against the turn and gets a top edge, and Dean picks up her third.
And it tells us that Dean is getting some bounce in the wicket, because had it come the natural height, the normal height, maybe being Rosario would have been able to play that shot that she attempted, but the ball popped on her. There's some bounce in this wicket.
Full toss. There is protection out there. Couple bounces off to Bowman at deep mid-wicket, and Aliyah Weeks gets off the mark. The opening fast bowler, or the all-rounder, coming in now at number 4. Did have a score of 21 against the Leeward Islands in that total of 126. No ball signalled by the umpire as well for height. So it's the second one we've seen signalled for height. And Kambala Pali is going to face up to it. Down the track, hits it down the ground. One bounce to Calendar out there at long on. But we've seen a number of no balls over the height of the waist. Not just in this game, but we've seen it a couple times in the tournament, adding to the extras, which has been significant contributors to the totals for all of the teams, with wides and no balls. So loud appeal here again. Just wonder if she got some bat onto it. Aliyah Weeks, not out, says the umpire. The over comes and 6 gone.
Let's have a look and see what really happened there. She went for it's up there. Oh, it seemed to be going down the leg. It seemed to be going down the leg because Weeks made a big swing there, misses, and you can see all 3 stumps. So that ball was going down the leg. But you mentioned something, Billy, about the high balls. Those seem to be which will be converted into extras. So to me, sometimes the heat, maybe the ball is slipping from the bowler's arm. Because most of them just toss it up, and that could be one of the reasons why we are having so much a large collection of high full tosses, which is sometimes deemed by the batsman to be a no ball.
Myers, a delicate dab here from Kambala Pali. Past the wicket keeper. Is going to go very close to the boundary, and is holder able to pull it back. 4 signal by the umpire Laborde. So a very delicate shot, showing the other side of her batting and her versatility here, Kambala Pali. Dabbing this one past the first slip, and well, between the first slip and the wicket keeper, and just past the glove of Collymore, but it had enough pace on it off of the bowling of Myers to get to the boundary for 4.
Oh yes, she's showing that she has soft hands, despite having a rough hand at times where she's pulling and driving. She's showing that she has soft hands, and that one was just delicately cut down for 4 runs. Myers right up there, and Kambala Pali, she's right up to the task, coming forward to it. Myers is tossing it up, trying to entice her to go for the big one, but she's right forward. She's obeying the golden rule: respect the good balls and beat the bad ones. And this one was a good delivery.
Down the track, over the top. Kamabach is chasing back, and it just eludes her. She's able to pick it up inside the boundary in a very athletic piece of fielding there from Nijani Kamabach at mid-on. Down the track was Kambala Pali again, and over the top, trying to get another boundary. And she continues to be very, very aggressive with the score on 42 for 3.
Oh yes, indeed. She's adventurous and she's bold. She isn't allowing anything to go past, and she's playing her shots.
And Weeks more circumspect as well. Kambala Pali recognizing it's the last over of the power play. And Kamabach now to Weeks. She stayed at long on. She's going to come back into the 30-yard circle now. And this is a good-looking shot here from Weeks. Tugged across the line. It's going to go into the boundary for 4. A lot of power in that shot for Weeks. And she is also recognizing it's the last over of power play. and taking advantage of it with just 2 fielders out into the deep. And what an excellent shot, Astle.
Excellent shot indeed. That one was short. It was a very slow turner, and she gave it a full swing of the bat. Anything that is short, she went back a little and she pulled it around through mid-wicket for 4, giving the field person down there no chance at all. Indeed, she hammered that one, you can say, for 4.
No,
so,
sorry, Astle, I'm just trying to ensure. Yeah, they're going to have to call one up now inside the ring because we still have 1 delivery left in the power play.
Correct.
And 2 out in the deep. So deep mid-wicket is in place now.
Myers came back beautifully with that delivery after being tugged around, pulled around, or hammered around for 4. She came back and tossed this one right up, and Weeks was up to it. She came right forward and smothered any spin or any movement, and that's the end of the power play. That's the end of the 7 overs.
Yep.
And the score is now 46 for 3. I think the Leewards they are staying up there with the scoring rate, but they have lost 3 wickets.
Yeah, and as we expected, still it's a very competitive game between these 2 teams, and it's a very exciting to watch as well. Good display of batting, good display of attacking, positive, aggressive batting from the Leeward Islands. But Barbados showing their temerity, coming up and fighting through. And Erin Dean has been to pick up the bowlers here, with Wood going for a couple of boundaries, the captain coming on, replacing Wood and going for a few boundaries herself, although she got a chance off of her bowling. And Campbell Apali is looking to motor on now. She's on 26.
Good delivery from Dean. This one was coming in, and Campbell Apali was right there. She's backing across. I see the umpire is making a frantic thing. I don't know what she's...
Yeah, she's asking to throw the ball up.
Oh.
Don't want the ball just scuffing up along the pitch itself.
Oh yeah, sometimes some teams they do that. And Dean is coming up. She pulls out of her delivery. As I was making the point, some teams love to do that when they have good spinners. They like to rough up the ball in the ground. So the umpire was up to that type of movement, and she decided to have them bring the ball up quickly. This one was short, and Dean and Campbell Apali pulled it around through mid-wicket for a single. The batters go through for a single, and there is no run. The score goes on to 47 for 3. And Campbell Apali, well, she's motoring along. She's on 27, having faced 23 deliveries. Good delivery from Dean. This one is right there. And Weeks coming forward and smothering whatever spin there is and making sure that that one doesn't sneak through her defense.
Yeah, the umpire very much aware that tactic to soften the ball up, get rid of that coating of wax on it. This one worked into the onside. That coating of wax, when they get the ball softer, still it doesn't travel quite as quickly along the ground or through the air, and it might be a little bit of a disadvantage to the batters, particularly Campbell Apali, who wants a hard new ball. So when she does middle, it races off of the bat. So umpire Daniel quite aware of it.
This one is short there, and Campbell Apali pull this one around to mid-wicket, and they go through for a single. And she thought she would have got more from that. They had, but it went straight to the field person down there, and they took a single.
So despite the fact that there is protection out in the deep, and those shots are just going for 1. That's a loud appeal here from Dean again, and she's given it. Umpire Vicky Daniel agrees with Erin Dean, who will pick up her 4th wicket. And Aaliyah Weeks, she will have to go for 6. I thought for a second it was angling down the leg side. We'll just have to see how much turn was there on that still.
Let's see in the replay here. It comes forward indeed. There was some turn, but according to umpire Daniel, it was going to hit the stump, and her decision is final. So it is a 1 up, 4 down for the Leewards. They are now 49 for 4. Kind of unfortunate or a tough decision. A tough one indeed, but once you're in the middle, we are not directly behind the stumps, Billy, so we are looking at it from quite an angle.
Yeah, absolutely, Asa. We can't tell how much turn was there on offer, but we can use a couple things as a guide. We saw the wicketkeeper heading down the leg side, and it definitely wasn't pitched outside of the off stump. So just the degree of turn would have determined if it would have clipped the leg stump or hit a significant portion of the leg stump. And umpire, in the best vantage point, umpire Vicky Daniel agreeing with Dean that it was going to strike somewhere between middle and leg, or in fact leg stump, and gives the decision out.
Yes, and according to what you rightfully point out there, Billy, is that one of the main indicators that you can look at the movement of the keeper. She's going down the leg, so she anticipates that the ball may be going down the leg, but maybe it didn't move as viciously as she thought, and umpire Vicky Daniel had other thoughts, and that dreaded finger went up.
So Barbados in the ascendancy now, 4 wickets down. The captain, Clarkston, gone. Kambalapali is still there on 28. Casey Boyles, the opener, went for 1. Clarkston for 7. And Bean Rosario for no score. Kambalapali gets this one fine, sweeping. And it'll go very close to the boundary. And that excellent work down there, pulling that one back in. And saving the boundary. 2 runs to the total. The 50 comes up. 51 for 4, but exceptional work out in the deep there.
Exceptional work indeed, and you cannot fault the Bajans for their enthusiasm, for their bravery, and their hard work. They have done it outside on the ground field. It's just that they needed to take the catches. They put down the 2 catches, and that one of them is the informed Kambalapali, but you cannot blame the Bajans for their enthusiasm and the ground feeling exactly for their effort.
Worked into the onside. Such a good looking shot there, manipulating the field as well as reading the turn on offer from Herbert Myers to work it into the onside and rotate that strike for a single. She goes on now to 31.
Excellent work indeed, Billy. You can see there is some class in this player, Kambalapali. She knows what she's doing. She came right forward and she opened the face. I mean, she turned the blade around just to pick up that single, turning it with the turn, with whatever turn that there is from Myers.
And I'll tell you as well, Kambalapali Astil, it's not just her batting. She's had scores of 62, 27, and 37, but she's picked up, at my count, 10 wickets in the tournament so far.
So she's worth every word of her presence on this Leeward Islands team.
Only for the fact as well, she did not get to bowl in the Jamaica game that was rained out. She didn't get to bowl against Trinidad and Tobago. So in just 2 innings, she got 6 for 8 and 4 for 22.
An excellent cricketer indeed from the stats you have just lined out for us there. An excellent cricketer, and she's very, very good, what I'm seeing here with the bat. So at least this women's under 19 rising stars, they really have some rising stars indeed, and you're seeing it on display here at the UWI Sir Frank Royal Ground in St. Augustine today from both teams, Barbados and the Leeward Islands.
And just returning, the other wicket that fell was that of Aliyah Weeks for 6. And all 4 wickets have gone to Erin Dean, who was 4 for 17. As that over comes to an end, 9 gone and 53 for 4. And over that saw the 50 come up, but 4 wickets down on the board as we have a look at the scorecard there.
53 for 4, and the run rate is quite healthy, 5.89, and they can push that. They can accelerate whenever the time they want, according to our scores. The project is, if they continue along those lines, then they can get over the 200 mark. They can finish at 206, which will be a very, very good total indeed. But let's wait and see as the drama continues here at the Sir Frank Royal Ground at UWI St. Augustine.
Well, there's also the fact that the USA under 19 women will be touring, and they will take on a West Indies selected under 19 women's team to follow this tournament. And so these players will be eyeing up a spot on that team as well. So Kambalapali with 157 runs coming into this match as the leading run scorer, and 10 wickets as we mentioned, top of the table with the wickets column as well. So she is one that will be certainly eyeing up opposition. in that series against the USA under 19 team.
So there's a bowling change from the UB-Spec end. UBC Kamabachi is coming on. She replaces Dean, who has been bowling extremely well indeed. She picked up all 4 wickets, and the captain said, well, it's time to give you a rest and we are going to try someone else.
Well, just behind Kambala Pali is Naijani Kamabach with 9 wickets in the tournament. She got 6 for 7 against Guyana and 3 for 17 against Jamaica. Of course, she as well was on that tour to Malaysia in the West Indies under 19 World Cup. So returning here to add to the experience in this Barbados squad.
And sometimes there's conflicting views. Sometimes when you have a bowler bowling as well as Erin Dean, sometimes the captain is tempted to really bowl her through and get a run through this entire batting lineup. Or sometimes some captains say, well, let us hold back, give her a rest and bring her back on sometime, maybe 2 or 3 overs later. But there's conflicting views about that. And but we see here that skipper Myers has decided to really give her a little break and bring her back some time. And then Lola Peel, and she's Lola Peel, and leg before decision has been approved and has been given. So we see here Zara Skeet is the one who was caught plumb in front. So the change has brought about the downfall of Zara Skeet. She was caught plumb in front. She went back, missed, and there was no doubt that ball was going to cannon into the stump.
Yeah, very disappointed there. Another wicket falling. Zara Skeet out for 1. And another LBW decision from the end of Vicky Daniels. And Naijani Kamabach taking over, as you mentioned, from Erin Dean. However, the wickets continue to tumble from that end. And that one looked plumb in front there. No hesitation in giving that decision. 5 wickets down now for 53. And just Sainavi Kambala Pali out there on 31. Just watching helplessly from the other end.
And you can see that one kept it come back in, it kept a little low, and the umpire didn't hesitate at all. No hesitation. The finger went up promptly as the appeal went up also. So she was convinced in her mind that, you see, once you're up against an off spinner and you're going back, you miss. Sometimes it can be going down the leg because you can judge from how the keeper is going. But the umpires in their minds sometimes, they rule one time in favor of the bowler.
And this Barbados lineup, there are 5 spinners, 4 off-break bowlers, and Sabriel Headley, the left-arm spinner. So Barbados very much favoring the off-spinners to do the job. This one hit in the air. What is out there? And it lands just in, Kamabach rather, it lands just in front of her, coming around from mid-on. So Kambala Pali, she's still going to go through with her shots, deciding to go in the air, and a bit risky on that occasion. Too close for comfort, still.
Too close for comfort indeed, and especially when you have lost your 5 wickets indeed, you need to temper it a little. But she has decided is all or nothing. Good delivery right up there again, and you can see Wilson. Anika Wilson, she just has to come forward there and defend this one from Myers, the captain.
For the first time in the tournament, we're going to have, rather for the second time in the tournament, we're going to have a look at how much depth this batting lineup has. And they got to 126 in 26.5 overs against the Leeward Islands.
This one is down the leg side. It eludes the keeper, and they are through to a very, very quick leg by indeed. Umpire the ball didn't. She showed that there was a leg by. The ball went wide on the leg side. Well, it went through the keeper, and they did not hesitate at all. They one more added to the total.
And we made the point in the last game. It's very, very important for the lower order to stick around here. As Kambala Pali works it into the onside again. They do take the single. Diving stop there by Calendar from mid-wicket. Can't prevent the single, but most definitely stops the thought of a second run. 56 for 5. And they have to stick around with Kambala Pali because, as we pointed out in the last game, these extras, these wide deliveries, they can add up and contribute. As we've seen in the tournament, we've had sometimes over 30 runs in extras, contributing significantly to the totals of the batting teams. And so much so, we've seen totals go from just around this margin, 50, 57 to 74 and even higher with those extras. So it's very important for the batters to stay on and bat as long as possible in this 35 over innings, as well as still, as I was prompted by our producer, Mr. Jason Passad, when we were looking at the depth of batting. Bean Rose in that game against Windward got to 26. She's gone now, but I'll give you the scores. This delivery, is it going to be signal wide? Perhaps brushing the pad. As still, looking at that batting card, Kamala Pali got 27, 13 to Boyles, 3 to Clarkston, 21 to Leah Weeks, and 26 to Bean Rosario. The other scores after this delivery, I'll give it to you. Well defended here. The other scores was Skerrett 1, Harry Lyle no score, Borna no score, Budraj no score, Lianga Warner 2, Inca Williams no score. So as the over comes to an end, that is food for thought, and Barbados will be well aware, as is our producer Mr. Passad, that if they happen to pick another wicket here, they could very well be restricting the Leeward Islands to a very low score.
Yes, indeed, Billy, as you rightfully point out, the rest of the bat in the lower order, they must stick around with Kambala Pali. They need she has to directly show now. She has to be farming the bowling and make sure that she instill a certain amount of confidence in the lower order that they will stick around with her, and so that they can be able to face out the 35 overs and put this total and get this team to a very, very good total indeed. But it all centers around her and the type of confidence that she can place in the low order batters. They will be able to be encouraged to stick around to get that total up to a reasonable and a fighting total. But she's facing up here now. That is Kambala Pali. Good delivery right up there from the number 6, that is Kamabash, Najani Kamabash.
And Herbert Myers, the captain for Barbados, is well aware of that fact. So much so, we get into it after this delivery. Down the track and pushes past extra cover. And it's going to be some work here. And trying to haul it back is Nia Wood. And they managed to do that in collaboration with Erin Dean. And just 2 runs to the total. And they've dropped the mid off to long off. They've dropped the mid on to long on. There's a deep mid wicket as well. So perhaps thinking with Kambala Pali wanting to drive, to just give her that single and allow them to go at Wilson from the other end.
Excellent thinking indeed. Excellent thinking. You see that Myers, she's thinking. She's a thinking captain. She wants to expose the other batters to the bowling and give Kambala Pali that single which she is seeking. But Kambala Pali, I think she's up to the task. She's reading the play. She's reading the cricket at this time, and it is excellent cricket. Good encounter.
Well, Kambala Pali is up to the task here. She's manipulating the bowling and the fielding. We saw her punch one through the covers for a couple to keep the strike. And this was exactly her intention, because this one now she works past backward square, tugging it into the onside, well in control, past the short fine leg into the boundary for 4. So she's manipulating the bowling, manipulating the field placement, maintaining her strike as well to stay on strike as she goes on to 39 and 63 for 5.
An excellent shot, a very, very good shot indeed. That was the off spinner coming in. She pitched somewhere about middle stump, coming more down to the leg. And Kambala Pali, well, she helped it along the way. She's a thinking cricketer, a good cricketer indeed, a good ball player, as you said, she is an all-rounder, batting and bowling. Down the track she goes again and hammers this one, but straight to the extra cover fielder, and there's no run. And what I like about her is that despite the situation, she is going to be putting back the ball, Billy, and hitting her, putting back the ball at every given occasion.
And it's well controlled as well. She is using her feet to get to the pitch of the deliveries of the spinners, to get over the top of the bounce and put the ball along the carpet. And when she has the opportunity to go aerial, she's trying to do that as well.
Full toss there, and that's one. That bowler someone get away with that full toss there. Kamala Pali did not take full advantage of that full toss. She hit it back straight to the bowler, Kamabash. Kamabash made the field. She made the stop, and it prevented any more runs to the total. Well, as we can see, the players they are taking a well-deserved drink break. And we are going to take a break up here too, Billy, or you're going to be giving us
just to run through the batting card so far to update our viewers. It's 63 for 5. Sainavi Kambala Pali, after Windward Islands was inserted into bat from Barbados winning the toss. She's on 39 off of 33 deliveries. Casey Boyles went for 1. Jazara Clarkston for 7. Catherine Breen Rosarion for no score. Aliyah Weeks for 6. Zara Skerrett for 1, and Inka Wilson is not out on no score. There are 9 extras in the innings with 6 wides and 3 no balls. 1 for fielding in the power play with 3 fielders outside of the ring and 2 for over the waist. And after 12 overs with a run rate of 5.25, it's 63 for 5. 4 wickets to Erin Dean and 1 to Nijani Kamabach. And as the players take a drinks break, we will take a break here and return as soon as play starts back in St. Augustine.
Okay, we resume the contest here between the Leeward Islands and Barbados at the Sir Frank World Ground in St. Augustine after the water break, that drinks break. And we see there's a change of bowling from this end here. Number 23, that is Sabriel Headley. She will take up the attack and she's bowling to Enika Wilson. Billy, the first half an hour's play was quite an interesting and an intriguing one. A long appeal there. The umpire hesitated there. I think Headley was expecting the finger to come up because she thought she had the batter, but the umpire remains unmoved. That one was a very, very good shot, a close shot indeed. And this one from Headley, the one before the umpire was unmoved, but this one here, Headley tossed it up. Wilson did not move too much. It was struck in the pad. Headley went up, confidently went up with the keeper and with the rest of the fielders around the area. And umpire Laborde had no hesitation but to raise that dreaded finger. And it means now that the Leewards have slipped down to 63 for the loss of 6 wickets.
I'm just wondering there if Wilson, she got the benefit of the doubt with the first shot for LBW, perhaps pitching outside the leg stump and then striking her in front of the stumps. Of course, not out pitching outside of the leg stump. But on this occasion, it looked like it pitched in line and perhaps between the front pad and the bat and striking the back leg. And umpire Candice Laborde, no hesitation in giving that one out. So another wicket falls as Courtney Brown comes out to bat, and the score is 63 for 6. And even though there's a healthy run rate, and Campbell Pally, her run rate over 5, and Campbell Pally on 39 from 34 deliveries, as we were mentioning before the drinks break, it's of paramount importance that these batters try to stick around with her.
Oh yes, and true, and Headley bowling left-hammer around the wicket. Just picked up a wicket there. That one was short, was turning into the batsman, into the new batsman. She pulls it around for a single, and that is Courtney Brown. She's off the mark, and she will feel much relieved indeed to be off the mark with the first delivery. Yeah, Headley is left-arm around the wicket, and she will be bowling to Campbell Pally, who has been carrying this attack and carrying the score, the run rate at this time.
Yeah, she has over 50% of the runs as well, as we've seen in a lot of the innings, with the score 64 for 6. But she's going to have to, I'm not going to say farm the strike just yet, but she's going to have to just readjust her thinking, how she proceeds during the course of this innings, to try and bat in phases, perhaps in blocks of 3 overs or 5 overs with whoever is with her at the opposite end, to try and get the majority of the strike and try and push this total closer to 75 and over.
That's right, Billy. I mean, she'll have to do that. I mean, they have the batting partnerships once they want to get this total up, and she has to be the one who has to dictate how the innings, how much runs they're going to get at this time, because she's in tremendous nick and she is a top-class player. So she'll have to work and instill that type of confidence within the rest of the batters as they come out to meet her. And let's see how they will operate. But partnerships are very important, as you rightfully point out, at this time of the innings. The run rate is quite good at this time. Was 64 for 6. They are 4.92, almost 5 runs and over. Not bad for having lost 6 wickets.
Cumberbatch will continue here. Just looking across at the other games that are crucial games as well to determine who will go into the finals between first place and second place, to take place on Saturday at 10 a.m. And I believe the final takes place at the National Cricket Centre, with Leeward Islands currently atop the table and Barbados second. Or the finals have been corrected, is in Diego Martin on Saturday morning. Playing a miss here. The third and fourth place playoff will take place here at St. Augustine. So just looking at the other game, Guyana winning the toss against Trinidad and Tobago and opting to bat first. And they have lost their first 4 wickets with just 16 runs on the board. And 8 overs gone in that affair. 2 wickets to Ram Tahal and 2 wickets for the captain, Harry Charan.
This one is outside the off from Cumberbatch. There, Courtney Brown, well, she played a shot, misses, and it went through to the wicket keeper, Colin Moore.
And the game across in Diego Martin.
A lot of appeal there. Let's see, and he's out. She's bowled down into that one. That one to me, like it came off the pad and onto the stump, because I thought when I saw Kamabash running around, I thought it was for, she was confident for like before, but not knowing that the stumps of Courtney Brown was disturbed, and she is making her way back. 64 for 7. Kamabash is the one, she has picked up her second wicket for 6 runs, and this is her third over. So I think it is now up to Kambalapali to really take charge of this situation if they're going to get to a respectable total, Billy.
Yeah, and backing away there was Brown. As we look at this middle, is a pitched up delivery from Kamabach, and she should be on the front foot, but she's backing away, and a bit of a faster through the air there from Kamabach, penetrating the defense of Brown rather, and she's going to have to go, and Liagna Warner is making her way out to the middle, and they've got to recognize that you've got to get onto the front foot to start with. The ball's pitched up because there is some turn on offer, and you're going to be in trouble going on to the back foot. Try and get onto the front foot, get the bat out in front of the pad, and try and defend and look to rotate the strike. And the longer you bat, the easier it would become. And if you aim to put some longevity into the innings, as we're in 13.4 overs, the runs will come as well, especially with Kambalapali at the opposite end, not out on 39.
Well, Kamabash will be bowling to the new batter. That is Liana Warner. Warner is the one who will be facing up to Kamabash. Kamabash is the off spinner, and you rightfully point out, Billy. When you're playing an off spinner, you must you must get on the front foot. Once it's only when the ball is extremely short you go on the back foot, but otherwise you gotta come on the front foot to smother whatever spin there is. This one is down the leg side, a faster one, and umpire Daniel signals a wide immediately. Before Warner can get across, the ball was into the gloves of Collymore. So one more extra to the total.
If you stay there, you will get more extras, and you can help boost that total into something you can bowl against. Warner, a left-arm medium pacer as well, would want to get a good enough total so that she has a bit of a cushion when her turn to bowl, as it's 65 for 7.
That one was tossed up by Kamabash, and Warner just came forward and played a gently push onto the offside, and there's no run. The ball is relayed to Kamabash. Good delivery, and there's a low shout again, and umpire goes up. She's out. Warner is leg before. This one, she came forward, but the halfway push didn't give that full stretch of the left foot. Came forward halfway, was struck on the pad. Let's have a look at it here. And Kamabash was confident, and so too was umpire Daniel. She raised a finger and signaling that Warner has to make her departure and go back. So now the Leewards have slipped deeper. They have lost one more wicket. The score is 65 for 8. And we at the end of the 14th over. Let's have a second look at it again.
Well, she did the first thing right, looking to get onto the front foot. But as you did say, you have to get that bat in front of the pad, which was the second thing that you have to do. But on that occasion, and I'll give credit to the bowler there, because it pitched on that line and turned away from the bat and struck onto the pad. And struck her in front of the stumps as well. So Warner, she'll have to go. And another wicket goes down. And 8 down now for 65. And as well as that over has come to an end, it would mean that Kambalapali has the strike on 39. So she's going to have to change up her method of play. Either look to score off of bad deliveries, but if the singles are on offer, she might just turn them down. We'll have to wait and see and look to start to farm the strike here now, because a lot is riding on this game for the Leeward Islands.
A lot is riding, it's true. And I think that Kambalapali will have to know how many deliveries she will expose these batters, the rest of the batters for. That one is tossed up by Headley, and Kambalapali swings it around to mid-wicket for a single.
Well, we have our answer there still. She takes
I think
the single.
That is what the Bajans want. The Barbados would like her to get her off strike as long as possible to make sure that they are bowling to the new batters who are coming in at the lower order. And I thought maybe she would have been able to just expose her partner to maybe one delivery or two deliveries, but she has 5 to face up to. Let's see as Headley bowls to the new one, Harry Lal. Gabriel Harry Lal.
I'm hearing some shouts coming from the dressing room from both teams, shouting the encouragement. And Kambala Pali there has a long conversation with Harry Lal, indicating that she wants her to stay with her and bat as long as possible. Just wonder if some of the shouts as well was for Kambala Pali to take the strike.
Good delivery right up there from Headley, and Harry Lal was up there to the task. She came forward and defended it well. That must have brought some joy to Kambala Pali, who is on the non-striker's end. She's saying, well, you have listened to me for a while. Good, well played again. This one is coming right forward. Headley is using the crease and using the deliveries to her best advantage to unseat Harry Lal, but Harry Lal survived. Headley once more. Good delivery right up there, and Harry Lal is up to the task. She has faced 4 deliveries or 3 so far. I think 4 deliveries.
One to come. More importantly, as still
very
for her to stay there to give Kambala Pali the strike at the opposite end.
And that's the end of the over there. Well played. At least Harry Lal faced 5 deliveries, and that is what you want from the lower order. You want them to have that confidence that they can stay with the recognized batter, and who is Kambala Pali.
And I'll tell you why this game is of such critical importance. Leeward Islands atop the table. Barbados here are holding advantage with 8 wickets down. In the other game, Jamaica, who are on 10 points, third on the table, they have opted to bat first and have lost their first 4 wickets with 35 runs on the board in 14.3 overs, and 2 wickets to Selena Ross, 1 apiece to Tyrell and Gilbert, and Adania Boer is not out on 5, and Sutherland, she only scored 2 today, and Monica Reid is not out on 13, so a key encounter there as well. Jamaica looking for a victory. Down the track in the air, and it just creeps over the head of the fielder at deep mid-wicket. Looks to be Bruce, and they come through for 1 and just turn down the second because it would have been touch and go to come back for 2, but it does mean now that she has given up the strike, Kambala Pali.
As she did in the previous over. You mean that Harry Lal has to face 5 deliveries, and I think she would have liked to give her at least maybe 2 or 3 for the most. But it didn't work out that way in the last over, and now Harry Lal is faced with 6 deliveries. Let's see how she copes here. And she's bowled down. This one was right through the gate. Kumabash tossed this one up. Harry Lal came forward. It went through the gate and hit the off stump. And so too, the Leewards have lost another wicket. Look at it there. As Harry Lal came forward, did not cover the stump. The score now is 67 for 9, and I think that they will be looking at the recognized batsman, Kambala Pali, and saying, why did you give her that all those deliveries to face? But that's the game. That's the game of cricket. The score is 67 for 9. We are in the 16th over, and Kambala Pali, she is not out on 41. What a good innings indeed she has played so far from 38 deliveries. A
couple things with that delivery as well, justifying the LBW decisions given by umpire Daniel, because that one looked to pitch around and around the same area as the ones that struck the pad that she gave out LBW. This time going through between bat and pad and hitting the stumps. So the umpire in the right angle and the best position to adjudge those LBW decisions. And with that one hitting the stumps, just proving that the umpire would have been correct in those LBW decisions that she was making, just in case there was any doubt. and 9 wickets down now, 67 runs on the board. Sekinya Desan is out in the middle, and Sainavi Kambalapali on 41. She's at the non-striker's end with 1 wicket to go in the innings.
And Desan will be up against Kamabash. Kamabash will be looking to pick up her 5th wicket. And she bowled down indeed. And that's the end of the inning indeed. Kamabash pitched just outside the off stump. This one came back and hit the top of the off stump. And that's the end of it. Let's have a second look here and see what really happened in this replay. Yes, sirree. Tossed up there from Kamabash. Desan came forward, play a shot, only she understood that shot, and she lost her off stump. So that's the end of the Leeward Islands innings. They are dismissed. We have a second replay again to show exactly what happened. So the Leewards are all out for 67 in 16 overs, 15.3 overs. Barbados now they have shown that winning the toss and sending the opposition in to her first strike was a good decision, despite a tremendous innings, fighting innings there from Kambalapali, who was not out on 41. So Billy, what you thought about that total and the innings from the Leeward so far?
Well, I'm still looking back at the scorecard with Kambalapali not out on 41. It'll take her to 197 runs for the tournament so far. It's their lowest total in the 3 games that they managed to bat, and 2 being rain affected, but they did get an opportunity to bat in the first game, albeit just 20.3 overs before the rains came. And it has to be said that their lowest total, and looking at it from a coaching point of view, how do you get your teams to score the totals that you need them to score to be as competitive as they need to be? Not just at the under 19, well, not just against the opposition, but at the under 19 level in the regional cricket for these rising stars. And one of the ways that they could have done that was to look at some of the strategies in getting through an innings with your batters. And one in particular we were taking note of is the question we asked: should Kambalapali have looked to take the majority of the strike? We were asking the questions for in the last 3 overs, and she took some singles at the start of the over when she could have turned those singles down and looked to face the majority of the ball. And she is so aggressive and adept at manipulating the field that she scores boundaries almost at will. So had she gotten the majority of the strike for the last 4 wickets that fell, perhaps they could have gotten to a better total. And that might be something they would need to look at going forward into Saturday's game, as they do try to vie for that slot. So it's still on. The game is still on because there are a lot of permutations and combinations available. And for instance, if Jamaica comes through, but they are 4 wickets down. Trinidad and Tobago as well have picked up 4 wickets. So it's a fight for that first and second place, and still all to play for.
Oh yes, indeed. And as we rightfully point out, this is on the 19 rising stars. And I think it wasn't too much smart cricket from Kambalapali, because she realized that she was down with the 9-10 jacket and she needed to really play a little more smart cricket. But as we said, they are developing their they are developing, they are learning this game. And one of the areas, and you rightfully point out the other one, is that occupation of the crease is important. Once you spend time in the middle, runs will come. Runs will come, no matter how it is, but time is essential to spend in the middle once you are batting, once you are facing, no matter what type of conditions there are. But you are going to, once you spend time in the middle, runs will come.
I said not to put too much blame on the player herself, but what would have been the message coming out from the dressing room? And they would have had a strategy. And you know what was conveyed to her? And if it is that is what the strategy was, then fine. But this is the result of that. Correct. And developing the young players as well for the longer version of the game, not just the short version of the game. Because cricket is cricket, despite the format. And not being able to last the 35 overs, in fact being bowled out inside 15 overs, apart from the fact that it's disappointing. But how can you look to improve? And then that's why I said from a coaching point of view, what was the message that would have gone out to the player?
Oh yeah, that is very, very important indeed. Your technical staff outside who are looking onto the field of play and who will be able to read things a little differently. They should have sent out a message to the young batter to tell her at least, well, listen, you're going to take care of the lower order. You have to bring them through. But sometimes we miss a trick or two. But as we said before, this is a development. This is the under 19 Rising Stars. Mistakes will be made, but we hope that they will be corrected along the way. But all in all, we have seen a very competitive innings indeed. Some good innings, some good shots from Kamapali, who scored the majority of runs. She was 40 odd, then not out in a total of 67. So it means that she took control of the situation.
Well, the light roller is out on the pitch, just informed by the match referee, Mr. Hayden Bruce, that there is going to be a 10-minute break. So we will resume. No, lunch will not be taken, and Barbados will go to bat, requiring 68 runs for victory in 35 overs. Just a quick summary as still of the batting card. Kambapali, as we mentioned, not out on 41 off of 38 deliveries. Boyles for 1, Clarkston for 7, and 5 ducks in the innings. 10 extras. And the leading wicket taker, Erin Dean, 4 for 17. And on this occasion, like Johnny Kamabach, 5 for 8, coming off of her 6 for 7 in 2 games ago. And 1 wicket to Headley for 2 runs. So that will be it for the Leeward Islands innings. And we'll take a break just in about 7 minutes or so, still, and we'll be back for the second innings.
5
You're back here live. And the Barbados are already out there. The first delivery being bowled by Sainavi Kambalapali, the leading wicket taker. Well, she was the leading wicket taker at the start of this match. And with 4 wickets and 5 wickets respectively to Kambalapali. The inning gets underway. Just wondering if Kambalapali would still be at the top of the leading wicket takers. And she is given the new ball to start up as Asabi Calendar, 52 not out in the last game, gets off the mark, gets the inning on the way with 1 run in the first over already. And her batting partner, the captain, Tiani Herbert Myers, who batted quite well in partnership with her in the last game as they quickly chased down 74 runs. This one dabbed down for a single, so both batters will be off the mark. They might even look for 2 here. Herbert, if she decides to come back, no is the call. So 2 without loss. Yeah, the chase down that total of 74 against Jamaica in 14.1 overs with 52 to Calendar and Myers 36. An excellent opening partnership. And
yes,
still this should be very interesting.
Interesting indeed, because the Bajans will not be in a hurry. They'll take their time to get to this total. They got lots of time. As we see Kambalapali, she's a back of the ham. She's a back of the ham bowler. To me, it looked like if she's bowling like bricks.
Well, the action, and we look at it very carefully. As I was discussing with our producer this morning, as we were looking at it very closely, she's bowling off breaks, but it's a peculiar action. But she does have excellent control over the off spinners. We saw her in the last game in the Diego Martin facility. She got appreciable spin on that pitch and that surface over there. And it looks like a back of the arm, but it's coming out as an off-spinner delivery.
Oh, yes, because as you mentioned that, I'm looking at her very, very carefully now. And you look at she has a back of the arm action, but the finger spinning is off the off spinner, because the ball is coming off the fingers, not from the back of the arm. And that could be a bit, could work in her favor. Good delivery right up there indeed. And Calendar is right up there. Had a tremendous innings before, and she wants to continue that type of innings. It's the end of the over. A good over from Kambalapali. She had a very good knock indeed, and she has started well for the Leeward Islands. So the score is just on 3. What's the score?
Yep.
3 without loss, and that can be. And let's see, you're going to make a point, Billy.
Yeah, just 6 for 8 in the game against Windward Islands and 4 for 22 in her last game. And shall we call her a wrist mystery spinner?
Well, I think that could be the that could be the right way to describe her, because she's bowling something like a fella I knew once called Harold Joseph. Harold Joseph, they call him a mystery spinner. She's not as Sunil Narayan. But Sunil Narayan is up here, but she does from the back of the hand. But it's really if you're a top class batsman or a batter and you're looking at her, you may think that she's coming from the back of the arm.
Well, I would be lost if I was trying to bat against her, trying to guess which way she was bowling. But I likened her action to that of a Rashid Khan mixed in with a bit of Paul Adams.
Oh, yes.
Paul Adams, a left-hander though.
Yes.
But that type of positioning coming around as the shoulder comes around and the arm comes around, with a little bit of Rashid Khan tossed in there.
Yes. But the Paul Adams was one of the mysteries of
But she's not going
cricket.
all that way over as he did, and she's also looking at the pitch and not at the ground as Paul Adams did.
Yes, it is true. But she has a very fascinating action. Short from this one is from Clarkston, short there, and Calendar just went back and pulled it around for a single through mid-wicket there. It shows that Clarkston is trying to get some life and some bounce on this wicket. We saw from this end that the off-spinner Erin Dean got some turn and bounce, Billy. So maybe the medium fast of Clarkston might be able to extract similar situation here.
Clarkston in the last game was taken out of the attack by the umpire after 1 over and 2 deliveries, and she bowled a couple of over the waist full toss and was pulled out of the attack. So surely they would need her here not just to stay in the attack, and they wanted to be as accurate as possible and try and pick some wickets here to put Barbados under pressure. Immediately she is starting with a deep backward square on the boundary and a third on the boundary as well. The two fielders out in the deep. There's a short fine leg as well. So it's an attacking position. As a short ball off the top edge, heads down to third. It's going to land in front and just short of Harilal at that third position on the boundary. But clearly the line of attack is that short delivery against Calendar, because there is a deep backward square and a third on the boundary, and almost getting an opportunity from that delivery.
Oh yes, indeed. And I thought Harry Ladd could have attacked that ball with a little more enthusiasm, because she allowed it to come to her. And when you are defending a small total, then you got to make half chances. You got to really do the extra work. Good delivery there from Clarkston. She put that one short in, and Myers and Calendar went for it. It hit the top of the bat and went high in the air. And I thought Harriel allowed it to come. She should have attacked it and made that half chance. And maybe that would have been the downfall. But it was not to be. And Calendar has survived to continue her innings as Clarkston comes into Bolton Myers. Right up there, and the ball down.
What
ball
a beautiful
down indeed. A good delivery. A good Yorker indeed. This one's a good delivery from Clarkston. Clarkston, to me, she have a little bit of pace. And that was an excellent Yorker indeed. Myers came forward, played all over it, all around it, and she lost her stump. Let's see how it looked here.
Yeah,
so,
I did mention 2 no balls are still in the previous game, and I think she was searching for that Yorker delivery and gets it absolutely right here.
Excellent delivery indeed. That one, she was searching, she found it. And that was the end of the Barbados the Barbadian captain. So Myers make her way out the field, 6 for 1, Billy.
Yeah, picture the delivery there. Exactly what the captain Clarkston doing it herself, picking up the early wicket. Of course, she's been playing with the senior team, Jazara Clarkston, in the last series against South Africa with the senior team under Hayley Matthews, and had a couple games. Returned from Malaysia, went to England, debuted in the ODI and then the T20s, and went to Barbados and picked up wickets against the South African contingent. So she's most definitely in form and at the top of her game, and using that bit of experience here to try and claw her team's chances back in this game against Barbados.
Good delivery again. You can see Clarkston experience. I mean, having played all these matches, you can see her experience here. She's bowling to Nyla Kamabash. And Clarkston, that one was right up there. A similar delivery, but not as quick as the one that got rid of Myers. But it was right up there. And Nyla Kamabash was right up there to the task. She came forward and denied Clarkston the wicket. Good delivery again. Excellent delivery.
Was it chipped in the air?
No.
Diving effort from Clarkston, suggesting that she might have thought it was a chance.
Oh yes, maybe she thought about that. To me, it hit the ground first. Let's have a look.
Was that a chance still?
From where we are here, but the song of the bat, it seemed like if the ball hit the ball hit the bat, and then in hitting the bat, there must have been the ground. Oh. Man, okay. Thank you.
The end of the over, 2 gone, and a wicket falling in that first over from Clarkston. And I was going to say their main weapon, Kambala Pali, but Clarkston taking a wicket. She's also a significant main bowling weapon for the Leeward Islands. So this pair here are certainly going to test the Bajan batters, and Asabi Calendar. She's going to have her work cut out here. As I said, I'm at a loss to try and read as well what she would be bowling. And she has such impeccable control, Kambapali.
That one was coming into to Calendar, who just went back there and played a big shot, trying to clear the mid wicket. Didn't quite did that, but she picked up a single indeed. And as you mentioned before, this Kambapali, she is one that you can put down as a mystery bowler, because batsmen or batters will not be able to read her completely and having the authority over her as some batters will like to. Taking the strike now is Kamabach. Good delivery there, a low appeal, and she's getting. I see the finger goes up, and that's the end of Kamabach. That one was short. Kamabach went back to play the cut shot, missed, and it hit. It went into the pad. There was a low appeal, and umpire Danielle, well, she didn't hesitate at all.
Yes, Kambapali is a handful here, and no wonder she topping the table in the wickets column. And Dean and Kamabach challenging her for the leading wicket taker in the tournament. It's her turn with the ball in her hand, and she has already picked up a wicket here. As we have another look at this delivery, immaculate control and a lot of turn as well, striking her on the back leg, and adjudged LBW. And another wicket goes down now. Kamabach has to go, and 2 wickets down for 7, and that total of 67 are still looming large right now.
Looming large indeed. You described it well, because when you're chasing a small total and you have lost 2 wickets for a little bit of runs, 7 runs, then that total seemed to be a mountain, and it will be a mountain for Barbados to climb at this time. And they're facing up to one who can deny them more. Kambapali, she's the one who the Leewards will be depending upon. She and the very experienced Clarkston, and they have been doing the job for the Leewards. Outside the off stump there, the new batter is Bowman, and she allowed this one to go through to the keeper. Outside the off stump, not doing much, just going straight through. Down the leg side there, and the umpire signaled a wide one time. Bowman went for a big pull sweep, you could say. She missed. The keeper didn't take that cleanly, but they were denied any extra run or any extras. Well bowled again from Kambapali. Right up there, and Bowman reaching forward, coming right forward to smother whatever spin, whatever danger there is from that delivery. Down the leg side, this one wide again, so one more extra added. Kambapali needs to get it right. It needs to get her direction right, and once she puts it on the stump, then the batters know that they are in some danger. Right up there again, Bowman comes right forward and pushes it. It goes to square leg, and there's no run. Backward square, you can say it came off the inside of the bat.
One thing they're going to have to be careful of is not to give away too many extras. She certainly isn't infallible, Kambapali, with 2 wides in the over. And another good delivery here to close it out. Is it the final delivery or one more to come?
It is the final delivery. That's the end of the over, the end of the 3rd over. And they're 9 for 2. Barbados, they are in search of that victory total set by the Leewards.
Yeah, 15.3 overs rather, delivered by the Barbados bowlers, and conceded 10 extras with 7 wides and 3 no balls. So you want to be very careful here and not give away too many, not just runs, but it'll also mean extra deliveries, and allow Barbados more time to try and chase these runs down. And Asabi Calendar is still out there. And as we mentioned in the last game, she returned to the top of the order, replacing Bruce, Zania Bruce. And she certainly enjoyed her time batting at the top of the order in the last game, 52 not out.
An excellent innings indeed, and we had the pleasure of looking at it, and it was a well put together innings. She really played the shots. She was aggressive, and she played some lovely shots indeed, showing that she's not afraid to put back the ball when the occasion arises.
Yeah, hurried there by Clarkston, this time the experienced Jazara Clarkston. And she is leading this fight back here for the Leeward Islands. And a big wicket here, Calendar. And she'll certainly try to prize her out. Barbados do have some depth in their batting as well. Despite the fact that they've lost their captain, Herbert Myers, there is Ebony Brathwaite, who scored 48 not out in a previous game. Barbados first 2 games rained out, and their last 2 games doing well with the bat.
Outside the off stump there from Clarkston there, she tried to put a little more energy into it, and the umpire signaled a wide, as that one was allowed to go through by Calendar. The wicketkeeper took it cleanly, but the extra effort by Clarkston, because she's trying to get that extra pace in. The delivery which she removed Myers with was an excellent yorker. She was striving for that type of delivery, but the pace allowed her to be misguided.
That's a beautiful delivery there from Clarkston. Short of a length, pushing Calendar. It's that type of length where you're not quite sure if to come forward or play back. Calendar stayed on the back foot and just beat the outside edge through to wicketkeeper Bean Rosario behind the stumps.
And I mean, if the Leewards can pick up 2 quick wickets, including the big wicket of Calendar, then we may be in for a very intriguing finish. But Calendar comes forward from this delivery from Clarkston. It was just on or offside the off stump. She pushed forward. Maybe she pulled the bat away a little and allowed it to go through to the wicketkeeper, and there is no run.
That one just dying on its way through to the wicketkeeper as well, and just sacrificing a bit of pace for more control. Clarkston with the last 2 deliveries going past the outside edge, and Calendar tries to refocus now. Another one, that length again there. Are still not quite sure if to get forward or back and across, and it's just beating her with that line and length. Excellent from Jazara Clarkston.
Oh yes, and she's using the pace of the wicket. She's using all of her experience, because this one had a little more zip into it, and Calendar really she was beaten with not knowing exactly how much pace there was onto that delivery. Well bowled and well played indeed. You can see it's 2 excellent players indeed. Clarkston is with the ball and Calendar with the bat. We are in for an intriguing duel between these 2 here. If the Leewards can pick up the wicket of Calendar and get the next one, then they will be thinking that they can win this encounter. But they need to do the work, and they need to get the wickets as quickly as possible.
Well, Clarkston, she's going to have to make a decision very soon, as we have finished 4 overs, still in the power play of 7. No doubt, Clarkston, she's just bowled 2, would have another over 3. And she'll just have to calculate at what point does she change the bowling. And definitely, flighted delivery there. Full toss. And a start and a stop for the run, and just as well. And that would have been a very dicey run indeed, as it was played out to Weeks. Weeks who would open the bowling as well, but Kambapali given the new ball here today, and the 2 best bowlers in the lineup, Clarkston and Kambapali. And that question asked still as to when do you change the bowling. I suspect Kambapali might bowl 5 on the trot, and Clarkston on the other hand, at the end of the power play, we might just see a bowling change from her end for her to just to keep 3 overs or so inside.
That might be the thinking indeed. That might just be the thinking by Clarkston. But I mean to hold herself back and not bowl herself out. But she will be using the other bowler, Kambapali, so to really maintain and keep the pressure up, because they need to maintain pressure on this Barbados lineup. Good delivery indeed. A big square cut there from Bowman. Misses and it went through to the keeper. The keeper didn't take all that cleanly, but she survived and no harm done. 10 for 2. We are in the 5th over. This one is short down the leg side and Bowman turned this around wrong. Didn't get a full swing of the bat, but it may go into the fence. Yes, it does. 4 runs indeed. So the pressure has been relieved somewhat. Let's have a look and see. Bowman came back. She played this one down to leg. There was a spirited chase down there to stop that delivery, and it was all in vain. So the score pushed on to 14 for 3 in the 5th over.
Yeah, Bowman getting off the mark with a badly lined delivery there from Kambalapali. Getting a little ball turn. She's bowled a few deliveries that haven't turned much outside of the off stump, but anything that is pitched on the stumps, she's getting appreciable turn. And that is the delivery that I'm speaking about, Astil. That is certainly a mystery delivery. Just look at her finger position, the wrist position, and she gets so much spin on this delivery. Have a close look at it here. And that so much reminds me of Paul Adams, as this one is punched through the offside. It's going to go close to the boundary and in fact beats the chase and goes into the boundary. The Kyra Collimo chasing that one down there, the substitute on the field, and it goes for 4. So 2 boundaries in the over, and we were just saying that you would want to have Kambalapali bowl 5 overs on the trot, but going for 2 boundaries in that over, and an excellent shot there from Bowman, just punching off the back foot through the covers for 4.
Oh yes, indeed, the Bowman played a lovely shot indeed. She went back, she read it well because the ball came into her and she punched that one there. I thought the fieldsman could have done a little better. She ran down the ball instead of cutting it out. But it all went into the ropes, and it is 4 more for Barbados, who have gone on now to 19 for 2 at the end of the 5th over. And we see Clarkston has decided that she will continue to bowl continue her spell. Good delivery, that one had some pace outside the off stump indeed, and Calendar showed arms and allowed it to go. So even at this time of the day, just on to 12 o'clock, and the sun is bathing down on the Sir Frank World ground at Dewey, Clarkston still has enough energy in her to generate some pace indeed on a wicket that is not all that lively, but it has some grip and has some bounce into it.
She returns to that line and length control just outside the off stump, that 4th stump line. Just a correction there, still chasing that one down was Inika Wilson from the Leeward Islands, and it's very windy out here. So it was not Collymore. My page just flipped over with the wind gusting across the ground. We had some heavy winds last night.
Oh yes, indeed.
Into
yes.
this morning.
And I was pleasantly surprised to see that play started down here on time.
Short, what a peach of a delivery there, mixing it up there, Calendar. She's lured her onto the front. We saw a few short pitch deliveries from her early on in the innings. And have a look at this here, dug in short and had her backing away. And this is excellent cricket on offer here.
Good cricket indeed, but to 2 excellent players, because you have Calendar has shown that she can bat, and Clarkston with all her experience, she showed that she knows what she's doing, and this is a duel between 2 champion players.
Slower delivery, yeah, and at times she's slowing the speed of the delivery down, sacrificing speed for control, and she realizes when she does slow that up, she is luring Kalinda onto the front foot and beating the outside edge, not for the first time, and 4 dot deliveries piling on the pressure here, but 2 boundaries in the last over, so we're a little bit disappointed. So
oh yes,
Clarkston
indeed,
making up for it.
Yes, I think that Clarkston realizes that if they have any chance, they must get rid of Calendar. She has to get rid of Calendar. And I mean, that's why I believe she has decided to continue her spell, because she's bowling to a very good batter, and she wants to get rid of Calendar. If they can remove Calendar, then they think they stand a very, very good chance of bringing this game down tighter and closer, and they might just emerge as the winners. But it is an excellent duel indeed, in which is unfolding before our very eyes.
Just landing in front of Kambapali there at extra cover. Just fractionally short of a length, a little bit shorter than the previous deliveries, and Calendar was quick to get onto the back foot and hammer it out. But it was straight to extra cover, landing just in front of her and no run. And more importantly, it didn't go to hand.
Oh yes, indeed. I sense a bit of frustration from Calendar because Clarkston was really keeping it tight. And that one was a bit of how I read it is that there was some frustration in that stroke play because that ball could have gone to hand if it was hit cleaner and with a little more power. But that is when you have pressure being applied onto a situation. Good players make mistakes at times, and this could have been one of them. But it was not to be, and the battle continues here between Barbados and the Leeward Islands.
And as we were wondering, Kambapali is taken out of the attack. So just the 3 overs from her, not the 5 overs as we anticipated, as she went for a couple boundaries in the last over. Courtney Brown has the ball in hand. And she picked up 3 for 11 in her last game off of her 5 overs. So she's in the wickets as well. She delivered 7 wides, however, in that innings. So they can't afford to leak that type of extras in this innings, trying to defend this low total. But she would want to continue on and build some pressure that Clarkston has at the opposite end.
Rightly described, and described, Billy, because I mean pressure can make batters make mistakes, and pressure can burst the pipe at times, and this is what the Leewards must do. They must apply the pressure, keep the pressure up, keep that going, because the game is at a very delicate position at this time. 19 for 2, and we're in the 7th over.
It's protection out there at fine leg. So come around for a single. 48 runs required now.
And the current run rate is just about 3 runs and over. So 3.08 according to our scores.
And we're witnessing here players performing at their top level in this game. From the top of the table clash between Leeward Islands and Barbados. It's very exciting to watch.
Outside the off stump there from Courtney Brown. That one was wide outside the off stump, and the umpire didn't hesitate at all to signal a wide, because it seemed to me like Brown must have missed a run somewhere there, because she normally runs through, but I saw a stutter, or she had some stutters in her run up, but she went through and still delivered, and that one went wide.
It is a bit of a side step halfway through the run-up. She just springs across to her right, which suggests that she's starting fractionally wide with her run-up angle. Not quite a Malcolm Marshall angle, but fractionally wide, and then just skips across about 5 paces or so into the run-up to get directly behind that 4th stump line. So she's trying to get very close to that stump to deliver.
Everyone was short, and there we see Calendar hammering this one over mid-wicket for 4. That wasn't it. It was short. It came up right height indeed that Calendar wanted, and she put it away with tremendous ease and comfort. So that takes the Barbadian score now to 25 for 2. Excellent shot indeed from Calendar. She is continuing from a wonderful innings against Jamaica some 2 days ago, and that innings was played right here at the Sir Frank Worrell ground in Huey, St. Augustine. This one was short, and it was asked for it. You can see the skipper Clarkston is making some adjustment, because we cannot afford they cannot afford these runs to get out of hand. Go delivery indeed on the leg stump. But Calendar, showing the class, just came forward and turned the wrist for an easy single down to the leg side position. and that takes the score on to 26.
It's such impressive batting from Asabi Calendar. You have to take it in context as well. She picked up a couple boundaries off of Kamba Pali, but she was pegged back by Jazara Clarkston, and she just bide her time, looking to play each ball, recognizing that Clarkston is the superior bowler out there with her West Indies senior team experience. And she was in a good spell, decided to ride that spell out, and with the bowling change now from Brown, looking to pounce. And you know, you can always come back later down once you stay there. And she did exactly that, pouncing on that short delivery from Brown and tugging it away into the odd side, most emphatically for 4. So she's on to 8, and the battle ensues again with Clarkston with ball in hand. A loud appeal there from Clarkston. It is very intriguing, this battle going on in the middle there. Clarkston not for the first time with a pitch perfect Yorker, but Calendar able to dig it out.
Ooh, she was quite fortunate indeed, Calendar, to really get the bat down just in time. An excellent Yorker indeed. One similar to the one that got rid of Myers, but this time Calendar was up to the task. Short outside the off stump there from Clarkston, and Calendar flirting with danger, playing with danger. She found that this one did make contact. It went through to the keeper, and I'm sure Clarkston must be telling herself, well, as that one was close.
Well, still one thing I would not want to see or hate to see is that she's been beating the outside edge quite frequently. There again, there is no first slip in place, and if anything comes off that edge, it's all up to the wicket keeper to try and get that catch.
Oh yes, indeed, as you rightfully point out, Billy, because I thought the Leewards could have been a little more, they could have been a little more attacking in their field placing. I mean, because they know that their total, that they have a small total, and the more wickets you pick up early, very early, it will insert pressure upon the opposition. But they have decided to play it safe and let it unfold as it is. Good delivery again from Clarkston, and there we see Calendar right there coming right forward and showing the full face of the bat.
Well, I understand the thinking, because Calendar is such exquisite form that you want to have your fielder set in the right place and not take anybody away and expose a gap. But at the same time, the bowling of Clarkston has been so impressive to keep Calendar quiet, and just not just keeping her quiet, but gone past that outside edge just for her bowling. And I just jinxed her, didn't I?
That's the commentator's curse, Billy. That one, as you would sing in praises.
Well, the ball
Clarkston
came directly to me here in the commentary area with that wide delivery. So I definitely called it upon her.
That's a message indeed to tell you that, I mean, that you got to keep your eyes on the ball.
I do apologize to the Leeward Islands team. And just as I was singing her praises and just asking for that one slip, because she's been so impeccable, beating the outside edge of Calendar and angled one down the leg side.
And she comes in again.
Yeah, just returning to that spot on line and length there. And a gift of a 4 wides and a 5 runs in total. Just spoiling her figures as well, as it just inched Barbados closer to that target. 31 for 2, as just one delivery to come. And this is the point about those extras as well, Aston. The over would have been done had it not been a wide, and she's going to have to bowl that extra delivery. So at times the extra delivery can go for runs, or in fact it might even pick up a wicket.
Yes, it can hurt you, and hurt you badly. Good delivery from Clarkston again to complete this over. Right on target. Calendar is right behind it and plays it to the extra cover. There's no run as the over comes to an end. The score remains on, where are we? The score is on 31 for 2. Barbados in reply to 67. They're chasing down 67. They go one more past that 68 for victory. And that things are not looking too badly for the Bajans at this time. But the Leewards, they are fighting and fighting all the way down. This will they're hoping that they can pick up some 2 more wickets, 2 more fast wickets, and then they will breathe a little more easier.
Well, yeah, still Clarkston is not going to afford Brown another over. She has immediately, just a 1 over from Brown has brought Aaliyah Weeks, who we've seen with the new ball in previous matches. So she's given the opportunity now to come into the attack and replacing Courtney Brown, who went for 7 runs in her over. So looking to rein the changes, not wanting to give away too many. And the question Clarkston will have as we return after this delivery. It's a good start here from Weeks. The question Clarkston would have, and we would have as well, as still, does Clarkston bowl that 5th over?
Well, I believe she has been bowling tremendously well, and I believe once calendar is there, because I think Clarkston there is something called matchups in cricket, and I think once calendar is there, she believes that she can get it better for her. And once she gets that wicket, she thinks that they'll be breathing much more easier if they are to accomplish victory. I think a calendar is the one in which Clarkston has her eyes on. That's why she has maintained her bowling spell from that end. Let's see if I read it right. Oh, sometimes they change on you.
Oh, half chance there, just landing in front of Weeks. It was pushed back in the air from Bowman off of the back foot. And a little bit of extra pace here, Weeks. Short of a length, rising on her, and almost an opportunity. She just had one more step into her follow through, could have been a chance.
Outside the off some there from from Weeks. Good delivery indeed, with some pace, and the Leewards they need to capitalize on these half chances. They got to make them into chances if they are going to come out on top in this game. That's the nature of the game of cricket. When you are chasing, when you have a small total, then you got to do the impossible, and that is one of them. On the leg side, this one going down the leg there, Weeks, and there was no appeal from the bowler, but there was some noise around. The keeper then wasn't interested, and so too was the umpire, who is the main person in this whole scenario. But like I said before, when you're given half chances, you got to take them. You got to make them into chances if you have to put pressure upon the batting team. Good shot indeed from Bowman. Outside the off stump there, and she square cut this one. A typical square cut, a typical Barbadian shot. You can see it was outside the off stump there to be hit, and Bowman just give it the full swing of the bat, the full square cut. Lovely shot indeed. So that brought some cheers from the gallery, from those who are looking on. They know that they are 4 runs closer to taking to achieving this victory. 35 for 2, and we are in the 9th over.
Yeah, Weeks here just fractionally wide and short outside the off stump. Put away by Bowman for 4. Quite capable with the bat. Defended well here again. Weeks, of course, was a member of that West Indies under-19 team that played in that Malaysia World Cup as the overcome stand in. 35 for 2, 9 overs gone. And to come in the batting order as well, as we look at the batting card there, Ebony Brathwaite is stationed lower down in the batting order, but she did have a knock of 48 and most definitely will come in next if a wicket does fall. Made 48 in that total of 119 by Barbados posted against Guyana. It was the top score of that innings. A game also where they routed Guyana out for 21 runs. And so the talent on display here, we're witnessing 3 West Indies under 19 players, and Bowman looking as she could join that squad as well, looking very comfortable out there indeed. Batting against Week in that over. Yeah,
she looks very much at ease and compact there. There's a wide delivery there from Clarkston outside the off stump there. Calendar went, she stretched straight, didn't make contact, it went through to the keeper. But we're talking about Bowman. Bowman played an excellent square cut there. That was a typical Barbadian square cut. You can know when they grow up on that type of wickets where the ball is coming onto the bat. The Bajan tracks are like that. And Bowman just typifies that today.
Yeah, that excellent short of a length. Again, beating for the umpteenth time the outside edge of Calendar's bat. And that is where I'm a little bit skeptical if it does take that edge and it goes wide of the keeper, there's no first slip in place. And it's such a big wicket. Calendar has faced 29 deliveries. She's still on 8 runs, but she's looking comfortable, except when that ball goes outside, past her outside edge. And just for the bowling of Clarkston, I might just take that risk and put a first slip in.
Well, that's a good delivery from Clarkston, and Clarkston must have, but she's reading it right, but except that she hasn't put in the slip that you have been calling for, Billy. But she's bowling too, and I think Clarkston realizes that Calendar is a big wicket, and she's a big player, Clarkston. She wants to get that wicket, and she's hoping that one delivery will do it for her. Outside the off stump again, and this one's a wide. Goes through to the keeper, looking for some extra pace, and maybe that extra bounce went through to the keeper.
Well, the question as well is, in her mind, if she is even thinking about that at all, is where would you take the fielder from? And there are 4 on the onside. It's a 5-4 field. There is a deep backward square on the boundary. So the odd delivery, she's dug in short, just to keep Calendar a bit honest and not just walk out onto that front foot, knowing that ball is going to be full outside the off stump. But there is an option where you could drop the point back to the boundary and bring the third up into the first slip. So that might be an option. That's one option indeed. She can do that. This delivery was right up there, and Calendar just lay back and played a nice, open the blade of the bat. It ran down to third man, and they got an easy single indeed. So still exactly where that ball went, straight to third. If you put that third into that first slip, now that one went to ground, but had she been right up there in that first slip, or even 1.5 slip, it would not have gone for 4. She would have been in the line of it. And if you put the point out on the boundary, there will be backup for her, and you've created a wicket-taking position in the field.
Exactly, and it will create some pressure upon the batter.
And there's that
short indeed, short from Clarkston to Bowman. Bowman isn't a tall player, but that one just whistled past her shoulders, close to her chin area, and it went through to the keeper. So Clarkston is showing that she still has some fire within her armory.
And she does have that propensity to dig in the odd one short, which is why the deep backward square is on the boundary, just in case a pull shot is attempted. Short again is going to be signaled wide by the square leg as well as the presiding umpires. It was short, and 2 wide outside the off stump. And another extra, 2 wides in the over, 3 wides in the over in fact. And we were asking if she would bowl that 5th over. She is currently in her 5th over, and will it just be her last over?
It could be, because it seems that she have tried so hard, and Calendar, the top batter, had the majority of her deliveries, and she was unable to dismiss her. Then, seeing that the score is almost there at 39 for 2, then she might just try something else. This one from Calendar was from Clarkston was there. Bowman went back and played a somewhat of a halfway drive. They attempted for a single. Calendar is the one who went for the halfway drive. Was it Calendar or Bowman? Yeah, Calendar. Bowman is the one, and they went for a single.
I wonder if she's tiring a bit. 3 wides in the over. It's a peach of a delivery there, just snuffed out by wicketkeeper Bean Rosario. She took it on her ankle, and she's wincing in some pain now. It just died on hers. We've seen a couple that went past the outside edge. She took all of them quite well. This one, she did the right thing and got her body in the way, and she is suffering the consequences of that. She didn't get it in the glove, but an excellent stop from her nonetheless. Putting the ankle out the left boot, the wicketkeeper, and that is quite painful.
It is, because that ball died on her, and it has some pace, because when it hit the ground, it shot along the ground. And I mean, she did the rightful thing, as you rightfully described. Made sure she got behind it, and so that the ball will not be able to elude her. But we see her teammates are lifting her up to bring her to the physio, because it can be a painful blow when you are out there and you are hit on the ankle here. So it's now 12:15.
13 minutes to be precise, which is the luncheon interval are still.
Oh.
13 minutes past 12.
So go ahead, Billy.
She's
Sorry
lifted
about
off the field. Sorry, you're still just looking at they're still carrying her off the field. She's not able to put any weight on that left ankle, being Rosario. And she's in some pain. And would just want to let her Hampton club mates know that her left ankle, she is a footballer on scholarship across in the US. So they would be very interested in this as well, as the umpires have called for the luncheon interval with the score on 39 for 2. And the innings started off with the captain Tiani Herbert Myers falling to Josiah Clarkston bowl for 2. And Naijani Kamabach was LBW for no score against Kambapali. And the not-out batters Alicia Bowman with Asabi Calendar, who is on 9. Bowman is on 13. And with 15 extras, 15 wides in the innings. A couple of them went for boundaries. And 2 for 39 after 10 overs gone. A wicket apiece to Kambapali and Jazara Clarkston, who've bowled 3 and 5 overs respectively. And with this break in play still as the umpires come off the ground and the ground staff looks after the pitch, I think we're going to break for lunch.
Oh, yes, it's a good time to break for lunch. 29 more runs needed according to our scorecard here. 29 more needed. They have 150 deliveries still to be bowled. So we take a break as we take the lunch break at this time down here at UB St. Augustine.
Welcome back here for this encounter between Barbados and the Leeward Islands. We are about to resume after lunch here in St. Augustine. Mr. Frank Worrell-Grong. Sabriel Headley has the ball after lunch. 39 for 2. 10 overs gone. Asabi Calendar is on 9 off of 31 deliveries and Alicia Bowman on 13. Calendar is going to be facing up. Another 29 runs needed. 150 deliveries on offer to acquire that total. 67 of 67. Short and pulled away over the head of mid-wicket. Some work out there in the deep. And it's going to go into the boundary for 4. So we start already Calendar with a boundary off of the first delivery after lunch. 43 for 2.
That one was a short delivery, and it asked for the treatment because when you bowl into a batter who is in tremendous form as Calendar did, and you have the bowling change, Gabriella Harilal. She's bowling between the umpire and the stumps, and she's bowling around the wicket. It was put short, and Calendar gave it a full treatment. Up again, she bowls to Calendar, and Calendar fiddles at this one outside the off stump. That one wasn't the right shot to play after you hammered the one before for 4. This one was just outside the off stump, and she was caught in danger indeed. The score moves on to 43 for 2. Remember, they are chasing down a total of 67, so they are not too far away from that. But Harilal, who is bowling through the umpire, between the umpire and the stumps, around the wicket, tossed up, and Calendar swings this one around straight to the mid-wicket fields one, and there's no run. So we're getting a bit of some breeze down here, despite having a nice baking mid-sun. The sunshine is all in its full glory. We are getting some wind coming across the ground to ease the tension as the battle continues between Harilal and Calendar. Calendar rocks back on this one and hammers this one straight to the extra cover fielder, and there's no run. You find that there was a change of bowling from this end here. Clarkston decided that she's going to use Harilal. The left-handed Harilal again. And this one is swung all the way around to the square leg boundary. Just one run is they have acquired from that. The score pushes on to 44 for 2. So we are coming to the end of this first over after the luncheon break, and Harilal has been entrusted with it. Bowman just waited on it here, and she taps it to the short extra cover. There's no run. The end of the over, Billy. First over after lunch, 5 runs coming off of it, and Barbados continue their quest forward towards victory.
There's a change in bowling. Aliyah Weeks had the 1 over for 4 runs, and it was not Headley, it was Harilal. And the left-arm spinner, just mixing up my players. So it was Harilal coming into the lineup to bowl her first over, and a boundary in that over. And Barbados seem to be continuing on from where they left off. Another 24 runs required. And with the depth of the Barbados batting lineup, Leeward Islands are going to have to do quite well to drag this game back, and no better person to do that than Sainavi Campbell Apali, who comes into the attack now from the northern end. She didn't have too good of a start, despite picking up a wicket. Her last over, a couple boundaries, and was taken out of the attack. She's back on us still. Oh
yes, she's back on. She have switched ends, hoping that the switching of ends will bring a greater luck and maybe bring the wickets in which the Leewards require at this time. They need to pick up wickets quickly and pick up wickets at a rapid rate. And one of the wickets they'll be looking forward to get is either of the two of them, either Gabriel, either Calendar or Bowman. Bowman has been batting well so far. She looks to be a well put together player who knows exactly what she's doing. So if they can remove the informed Calendar and get rid of Bowman very, very quickly within the next over or two, then they will be sitting pretty, they can fancy their chances. Kambapali once more to Bowman. Bowman uses her feet and tries to hit this one hard, but it went down to long. And there's no run. The ball is retrieved and returned to Kambapali. She will attempt to disturb the Bajan run quest. Good delivery indeed, right there, but Bowman is up. Bowman is up to the task. She just went back easily and played a gentle forward defensive, making sure that that ball doesn't slip through, doesn't get through her bat and pad, and doesn't create any anxiety for her. Bowman comes forward. That woman's right there. She came forward and pushes it to the widest mid-on, and they're through for a single. That pushes the total to 46 for 2. One more closer to their winning target. Sun is the sun is baking down here in its full glory here. But we're having a nice breeze coming across the ground, which is appreciated by us and by the fieldsmen. Kambapali again. And Calendar just reaches forward and strokes this one without even much power. There she rehearses the shot which she really wanted to play. But that is gone. That's the end of the over. The end of the second over. And the score remains on 46 for 2, Billy. We are getting closer and closer to the winning target.
Yeah, this represents a good partnership here after the fall of 2 early wickets. And the second wicket fell with the score on 7, the first with the score on 6. So 39-run partnership so far between Calendar and Bowman. And it has to be said, Calendar shepherded her way through a tough spell from Clarkston, and she is still there on 15 rather, from 38 deliveries. But Bowman has come in and added some impetus to the innings, and 14 from 27 with a couple boundaries from her. So it's a very good partnership indeed.
And this is what you want in partnerships, is that not one person does the work, but both of them are required to do the work and ease the pressure somewhat. This one was tossed up from Harry Lal, and Calendar just came forward and plays that one with some power. It had the fields person down there coming across quickly to deny them more runs. They get a quick single, and the score moves on to 46 for 2. And this one is hammered high in the air. It could spell danger, but no. That one was short, and Calendar got back. She was looking to hit it over mid-wicket, maybe to over the mid-wicket ropes there. Didn't get hold of it quite clearly. It went in the air, but it landed safely, and they managed to pick up a single and advance the score by just one more. So Harry Lal has been bowling between the umpire and the stump. She's left-handed, so she's coming around the wicket to the right-handed Bowman.
There she's gone stumped. Harry Lal well-flighted delivery, a step down the crease. Bowman trying to meet it on the half volley or even the full, but misses the ball outside of the yaw stump. And quick work there by the wicketkeeper to pick the bail. Just she is stepping down the crease. She's out of her crease now and standing up and effecting the run out there, the stumping. And a loud appeal there as they celebrate and breaking the partnership as well. So a key wicket here after lunch. 3 wickets down now for 48.
Oh yes, and I think that's the breakthrough they wanted, and that is why Harry Lal was brought on to the attack, because she came on with an agonizing left arm teasers, you can say. That one was tossed up, and Bowman came down the wicket, didn't make contact, and the wicketkeeper did the rest. But she played a valuable hand indeed in getting her team to 48 so far. They are 48 for 3. And you can see from the replay here what happened to Bowman.
Yeah, when you have to get your head above your shoulders to look at that well-flighted delivery, and at times that is a strategy for the spin bowlers with generous flight, that you have to raise your head, and when the eyes come back down, you have to be in full control. See another flighted delivery here, and a play and a miss, and they're going to come through for a bye. We wait for the confirmation from umpire, but it is a bye.
Is it a bye in truth? Yes.
So he missed the bat as well as through the hands of the wicket keeper, Catherine Breen Rosario, who effected that stumping. Quite smart stumping indeed to see that fall of that third wicket. He was just making a point to get your eyes back down, and with that head movement sometimes you lose the line of the delivery. This one hammered through the offside, and it's going to go into the boundary for 4. No point running there. She sat back, Calendar. It was a gift really, short and wide outside the off stump, and quite well put away from the opening Barbados batter.
Yes, given the type of treatment in which this delivery deserved it, because Harry Lal didn't toss it as high, and you were talking about having the eyes go up to meet it. That one was just on the eye level, and Calendar made no mistake. She hammered that to extra cover for 4. So they have now passed the 50. They are past the 50 mark. No, 53 for 3.
Stepping across, pulling into the onside this time. And the 4 fielders out in the deep, one of which is at that deep mid-wicket position, does the fielding. So just one, Josiah Clarkston dropped out to the boundary at long off after that boundary to add to the fielders in the deep as that over comes to an end now. 54 for 3, and the current run rate over 4. 13 overs gone, just 15 runs required.
So I think Barbados will be looking at some light at the end of the tunnel. I think they are coming into a position now where they are going to see the full lantern as it hung at the end of the tunnel for them. They have lost just 3 wickets indeed, but they have shown that they are capable of getting this total. 54 for 3.
This one driven through the covers. The boot was stuck out there and couldn't knock it down, and it'll go into the boundary for 4. They're trying to stop it there at extra cover, and a good looking extra cover drive.
Nice shot indeed. That one was tossed up there, and Calendar got to it. She moved down the wicket a little, got to hit and play and give it the full swing of the bat, getting past the fields persons down there. And I think that there was a little bit of a sloppy work down there, because it could have been cut off. But the sloppiness, but you cannot afford to be giving away runs at this time of the game. Calendar again coming forward again. She pushing this one. Similar shot indeed, but this one wasn't as sweetly timed as the one before. But they managed to get a single. The score moves on to 59 for 3.
Yeah, Barbados, they came into this game second on the table, tied with points, but just under the net run rate of the Leeward Islands. And a victory here would put them in first place with 16 points. That one coming back in off the inside edge. Onto the back foot was Ebony Brathwaite. I mentioned she had a 48 not out in that game against Guyana, helped her team to 119, and they dismissed Guyana out for 21 runs. So there is depth in the batting here for Barbados.
Yes, yes, indeed. Ebony was quite fortunate indeed. That one could have gone onto the stump, because it hit the inside of the bat, and it went between her and the wicket, and the keeper had to retrieve. Good delivery again from Kambapali. Good one, the tossed up. Ebony is having her problems. She's having some disturbing moments against Kambapali.
A tall figure there of Ebony Brathwaite. Just a little bit of difficulty in this over from Kambapali.
Good delivery again. Just pushing forward. But the Bajans know that they are They are close for victory, so they are hanging in there. Canberra Pally is having a good over here. And I think as Ebony Brathwaite, she just came in. She needs some time to really settle in and know exactly what the spinner is doing. This one she picks up there. Lovely shot indeed. The sweeper comes around. The ball eluded her, and that it goes into the fence for 4. It goes over the ropes for 4.
You wanted it out on the boundary, not anticipating the backspin on the ball as it landed, scraped away off the back foot by Brathwaite and spinning away on the second bounce, and Warner, left-handed, wasn't able to get back around and stood helplessly as it spun past her into the boundary for 4. 63 for 3, and the writing almost on the wall now.
Yes, the writing is definitely on the wall, and the Leewards, they know that they are just for 5 runs away. 4 runs to draw level and 1 to go past to win this encounter. So 5 runs needed from 126 deliveries. So I think my money will be on the batting team at this time, Billy.
Yeah, just 5 runs again needed here. And just wondering, no bowling change. Harry Lal is going to continue on here. And just chip down the ground. He's going to go close to the boundary. And Weeks does a diving stop there. Running around from long on. Jazara Clarkston was at long off. It was hit on the offside. But it was Weeks coming around from that long on position, diving across, tumbling, knocking the ball back inside as we have a good look at it here again. And what an excellent stop there from Aaliyah Weeks.
Excellent stop indeed. Effort, you cannot fault her for effort because she came around. That could have been close to the end of the game, but she came around and gave 100%, knowing that there's just 5 runs needed. And some good camera work indeed.
Pulled back past the umpire. Weeks is there at long on. Gets the throw in, but still that was very close. Had Candice Laborde just quickly on her toes there, ducking out of the way as it was hammered back in the air in her direction.
Yes, indeed, that was close. But when you're umpire, you need to keep your eyes on the ball. As if you're a batsman, a batter, you must keep your eyes on the ball at all times and keep in the flow of things.
In the air, the keeper is going to have a chance, and she puts it down. A desperate dive there from Catherine Bean Rosario off of the outside edge, spooned up in the air. She charged at it. It landed somewhere very close to a short extra cover position and got both gloves to it, but put it down, and that would have been with just 1 run now required for victory. It would have been the fall of the 4th wicket, and maybe a little bit too late. We saw her receive a blow to the ankle before they went off for lunch. She had to be carried off of the field. She recovered from that injury, so much so that she raced after that one and still but put the catch down.
Oh, exactly. I mean, she's going through the walls at this time because she had to be taken off, got carried off before the lunch interval, and now she gave a brave attempt, a very gallant attempt to take that catch off Brathwaite, of Ebony Brathwaite, which was unsuccessful. And there's 1 run needed now for the Bajans to walk away winners of this encounter.
Yeah, they're not going to get it there as Campbell Pally is in the way. Campbell Pally has been to pick up the players along with Jazara Clarkston for the Leeward Islands. They'll be disappointed, and they're going to have to wait for the results of the other games.
And this could be the end of the game here as Calendar lobbed this one over the bowler's head. Back pass, but Weeks come down here. She picks it up, and the scores, they have gone past the 67 made by the Leeward. So that's the end of the game. The umpires are waiting for confirmation. The players all look towards the pavilion as the Bajan team, the victorious Bajan team, make their way onto the field of play. They got to the target for the loss of just they won for the loss of 3 wickets, winning by 7 wickets here at the UE ground in St. Augustine. Billy, a good encounter indeed. though the total was a bit too small for the run chase for this very good, this excellent Bajan team.
So yeah, another win there for Tiani Herbert-Myers and her players, the captain of the Barbados team. 3 wins in a row as they make their way on to greet the players of the Leeward Islands and shake their hands as they would go now to the top of the table, meaning that they would be into the finals as the first place team in the tournament, which would take place at the Diego Martin Regional Sporting Complex.
And that happened
on Saturday.
On Saturday. I mean, that's supposed to be a good encounter. So the opponents, they wait the result of or they know exactly who they're going to be facing on Saturday, Billy?
Well, Trinidad is currently batting against Guyana, who made 70 in 26.4 overs. So Trinidad have just started their innings. So they would require 70 runs to win. Trinidad, remember, they are on 8 points. And a win for them, it's not guaranteed with that total of a 70 against Guyana, but they will fight it out. It means that a win would put them on 12 points, tied with Barbados, with Leeward Islands, who are in second place. But the net run rate for the Leeward Islands team is significantly higher, over 2.9. And Trinidad and Tobago started this round with the net run rate of 0.342. Which means that they would have to have quite an emphatic victory against Guyana if they were to knock Barbados out of that second place. On the other hand, Jamaica, who were dismissed for 51 on 10 points, if they had come away with a victory, they would have gone into second spot. But with just 51 runs on the board for Jamaica being bowled out by the Leeward Islands, so that position is still up for grabs. The Windward Islands are currently 13 for 3. So all to play for in that game for Jamaica, and we will not know who is going to make it into that final as the second team on Saturday. But what we can tell you is definitely that Barbados are through as winners in this top of the table encounter against the Leeward Islands. Barbados winning the toss and opting to bowl first, and Asabi Calendar 29 not out from 45. We saw a mix of aggression as well as very circumspect batting, good temperament from the young opening batter to shepherd her team through to victory here. And Alicia Bowman proved a good company before she lost her wicket for 15. 39-run partnership between the two. 16 extras in the innings, and a wicket apiece to Kambapali, Jazara Clarkston and Gabrielle Harilal. And a good victory here for Barbados, and especially as for Barbados, Miss Hayley Matthews was awarded the ICC Player of the Month. It's her 4th such award for the West Indies captain senior team, and Hayley Matthews will now be looking on because some of her players who played with her at the senior level are featuring in this tournament. None other than Jazara Clarkston, who's had a good outing here in this under-19 series.
Oh yes, and when you hear Hayley Matthews speak about West Indies cricket, women's West Indies cricket, she's always talking about the younger ones, the development of them. So she'll be looking at with keen eyes on this tournament, because it's from here they're going to get some of the other players. And it is congratulations again to Hayley Matthews for winning her 4th ICC title. And she is showing that in the Caribbean, there are women who can hold their own against the best in the world. But at present, the Bajans, where she is from Barbados, they have shown that they are coming into form, especially Calendar, as she's coming into form, completing a half-century the game before, and now she's also carried a bat through this innings. So the Bajans, they are getting to that point where they are ready for the final on Saturday.
Yep. So that's the synopsis here from the Sir Frank Worrell Memorial Ground here at the UE Spec facility in St. Augustine, with news that Barbados has won this game between themselves and the Leeward Islands. They would go through to Saturday's final, and we will be here, Billy Fulong, alongside Astil Ren for commentary for that 3rd place encounter here, and we'll just wait to see who will be playing on that day. And producer Jason Passad and cameraman Emilio Fortune As still Ren, the next time we will see our viewers will be at the toss.
Well, I hope that we are here and we get a wonderful weather, nice brilliant sunshine, a nice breeze coming across the ground. And let's hope that we get a full display for that third place encounter, Billy. So, bye-bye from now from the Sir Frank World Ground in New St. Augustine. Thank you so much for your viewership.